It's a combat machine. But this isn't an AEG. Hi guys, Luca here from Sabre Airsoft with another interesting video, a bit of another rare find. And this particular rare find is from a regular customer of mine, very regular customer, and a good friend. I do play with him quite often. This is a combat machine, so it's G&G CM16, except it's gas blowback. I didn't even know these existed until very recently. And if you're on any of the WhatsApp sales groups, you've probably seen this pop up. And the guy selling it got a lot of abuse, saying he didn't know what he was talking about. That's not a gas blowback. The CM16 is an AEG. And it is, in fact, a gas blowback. These are the mags. They're a bit different. They're not quite gas blowback mags, and they're not AEG mags. As you can see, there is a big gas router here. And obviously the knocker valve and fill valve and everything like that. And the feed lips as well are also different. They're more reminiscent of an AEG. This is kind of like a hybrid, except that it doesn't use electric power at all. It is entirely gas. If we flip over and you can see, there you go, and you do that and you think, well, apart from this looking a little bit different, that's just an AEG in there, right? But it's not. And in fact, it doesn't take down like a gas blowback either. It takes down like an AEG. So a bit of history, because G&G were not the first to do this. In fact, this is essentially what's inside here is essentially a clone of a GHK system with some changes and minor improvements. And there are two versions of this. You can't get this particular version anymore. This is the V1, but you can still get the V2 over in the States, I believe. I have never seen them for sale in the UK. I have seen listings for them, but I've never seen them in stock. So taking this apart, just like an AEG, except with some, as I say, differences. There we go. So we'll get to the barrel and everything in a second. But as you can see, it is not an AEG at all. I wish I could take this apart properly and really get into the nuts and bolts of it. However, this has been very kindly lent to me by my customer, and it has already been sold. So I can't, unfortunately, go too deep into this, but I can at least demonstrate what's going on here. So as you can see, the what would normally be a fake plate is, in fact, I think I can, hold on, memory serves, I might be able to take it apart more than I think without potentially causing any problems. I hate crane stocks. They are the bane of my existence. Okay, it's going to be a pain. Do this the other way then. See, it's an AEG stock as well. No, it is attached differently. It's not traditional screw, so I'm not going to risk it. But you can see that is, obviously, it's essentially a split gearbox in there. It might be actually that if I push this body pin out here. Yes, okay, there we go. I had a feeling that was the case, but I wasn't entirely sure. So we can at least get a look at the trigger mechanism from the outside. Oop, don't lose that. Okay, so I'm going to look first at the top here. As I say, it's like a split gearbox, right? You can see, obviously, where the bolt's been traveling and everything like that, and it does slide this. And when you look at this, anyone who's ever seen the inside of a paintball gun might think that it looks familiar. It's not quite the same as the way a paintball gun works. The way this works, I would say, is closer to a traditional gas blowback, in that there is a rocket valve inside there, and then as the flow gets cut off down the nozzle, all of the flow then pushes the bolt back, which, as you can see, cycles the nozzle. And the nozzle cycles like an AEG. So all it's doing is allowing one more to come up through the feed tube and then into the hop chamber. So it's not stripping them off like with normal gas blowback with a little pickup arm on the bottom of the nozzle. Instead, it's moving a nozzle in the same way that you would with an AEG. And in the bottom, the trigger mechanism is... It's kind of like I describe it almost like a WA system, in that the knocker arm wants to be back all the time, and it's only when, oh, sorry, there we go, pushes forward, that it's allowed to go forward. It is all pot metal, it is all cheap, and I think that's part of the reason that this never really took off, because the concept of being able to put a gas blowback system into an AEG body is fantastic, but G&G in their infinite wisdom decided they wanted to stick it into their budget line. I get it, budget option, but is it a budget option? These cost, I think, $299 new for the V2. And for a gas blowback, yeah, I guess you could consider that to be budget for a gas blowback rifle. But to be able to put it into an AEG body when there's quite often a lot more options for AEG bodies is quite good. I mean, I say that, gas blowback, if they're done to mil spec, obviously you get all the real steel stuff. But when I saw this come up for sale, by the way, I knew. I was like, wait, hold on. I didn't know that G&G did this. They did copy from GHK. This came out in, I think, 2012, 2013. And the mags are still available. In fact, there's 2 mags that have been sold with this. One of them is a V1 mag, and one of them is actually a V2 mag. And the only way I could tell is that. That is it. That's all that tells me that one's a V1 and one's a V2. Is the follower comes out on the V2. So it does stop on empty. And the V1, it doesn't stop on empty. And you can still get the V2 mags at least. It's very gas efficient, but it can also shoot hot. I would definitely recommend using lower powered gases if you ever have one of these things, because on V6 I was getting 1.7 joules with 0.32s. That's a little bit spicy. And it's not exactly a tight bore barrel, it's your classic aluminium one. The hop up's not bad though. It's kind of like an early version of the very, very well known rotary from G&G, but not quite as good, perhaps. I mean, to be fair, I'm not even sure. No, the hop was set. It's got a G&G green bucking hop rubber in there, and it was coming at 1.7 joules. I was quite surprised. It is only a quick video, guys, and I say I can't really go too in depth with this thing because it's not mine to do that with. I haven't got permission to do so. I have just been lent this so I could do this very quick video and just show, yes, guys, this is in fact a thing that exists, and it is in fact a gas blowback combat machine 16. And it is supposed to be as well, as you can see here. Gas blowback series. That was very presumptuous of them, wasn't it? Very optimistic, seeing as they only released the V2. And then seemingly stopped caring, because then they released the MGCR. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. Catch you on the next one. Oh, I'm not that mean, don't worry. That's this one's gas. Well, that's the one that stops on empty. How about that? This one then. Remarkably gas efficient. Okay, for real this time. Catch you on the next one.